Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving deep today into, well, a very specific approach for kids' sleep patterns.
Yep. And we're basing this whole thing just on the source material you shared. So descriptions of the program, comments from users, that kind of thing.
Right. So the mission here really is to pull out the main claims, get a sense of the methods they hint at, you know.
And look at what people say happened when they tried it, according to these comments. Basically helping you get a clear picture of what this approach is all about just from these sources.
Exactly. And the material itself, it kind of sets the stage. It says it's new, science-based.
Developed by someone called Mary-Ann Schuler, identified as a child psychologist, clinical researcher from babysleepmiracle.com.
And it talks about simple, customized steps. Big goal. Help thousands of moms get their kids sleeping better every year.
So it's definitely positioning itself as, a unique research solution for a problem lots of parents know very well.
Absolutely.
Huh.
Okay, so let's jump into the core stuff presented in the material. First thing that pops out, there's a price. $37.
Yeah, $37. It's mentioned right there in the source material, a concrete detail.
And like you said, the author, Mary-Ann Schuler, babysleepmiracle.com. Now, here's something interesting from the comment section you sent over.
Oh, yeah.
Someone asks straight up, is this like the methods from, the big names? Dr. Bucknam, Weiss Bluth, Karp, those guys.
Right. And the author, Mary-Ann Schuler, actually answers that directly in the material. Her short answer, she says, is just no, flat out. She says her techniques are based on the newest scientific research.
News research.
And that she's never seen any approach similar, like, ever.
Wow. Okay, so that's a pretty bold claim right there.
Yeah.
Not just effective, but unique, different, based on new science. That definitely makes you pay
It
attention.
still really does sets a certain expectation,
So let's dig into some of the actual techniques or ideas mentioned in the sources. They're not always fully explained, but they have these like catchy titles.
Intriguing titles. Yeah.
One that jumped out was the most common bedtime mistake.
This is framed as a big one. The source claims, what was it, over 45% of parents get this wrong?
Yeah, 45%.
And it suggests you can find a better alternative if you watch their free presentation. It's like, here's this widespread error you might be making.
45% is huge, if that's accurate. Makes you really curious what it could be. Then there's another one, sounds a bit more conceptual. Emptying his emotional backpack.
Ah, yes, that's described as an easy technique. And the source mentions it's recommended by Dr. Laura Markham.
Okay, recommended by someone else. And the claims.
Pretty significant. It supposedly gives your child restful sleep. And this is the bit they call most astonishing. It might even improve your own health, the parent's health.
Your own health. Whoa, that's a big promise. Tying the kid's sleep to the parent's well-being like that.
It definitely broadens the potential impact, doesn't it? Makes it sound very holistic.
For sure. Okay, here's another one they call counterintuitive themselves. The counterintuitive reason why your child sleeps best in a noisy environment.
Yeah, because most people think quiet,
Yeah.
right, for babies.
Exactly. But this source challenges that. It claims there's only one noise proven to help a child doze off peacefully. Just one.
And they actually cite something for this one. They mention a little-known study done by the Queen Charlotte's Hospital in London.
Okay, so not just a noise, but one specific proven noise, and they name a hospital study. That's quite specific detail within the material.
It does lend it a sort of scientific credibility, at least in how it's presented in the source.
Now, it's really important to point out here, I think, while the source material names these techniques, right, and lists the benefits they claim, it doesn't actually tell you how to do the emotional backpack thing or what the bedtime mistake is or even what that specific noise is. Not in the excerpts we have, anyway.
That's a really crucial point based on these sources, yeah. We see the titles, the claims, the outcomes, but not the how, not the actual steps.
Right. You get the hook, the premise, the result they promise, which, makes you want to find out more. Okay, so moving on from the methods bit, the sources also include comments, people who say they've used it.
Yeah, these give you a glimpse into reported experiences. Like, Samantha Higgins commented about learning something surprising, the dangers of baby swings.
Oh, interesting. So maybe the content covers more than just sleep techniques, related safety stuff.
Seems like it from that comment. Then there's Morella Cruz. She shared a really, really positive experience. Her son, Jesus.
What did she say?
She said the method really works and reported a huge change. Her son went from waking up more than 5 times a night, imagine that, to waking up just once or twice.
Wow, how quickly?
After just 1 week. That's what she reported. She even calls the author a lifesaver. So that points to, well, claims of very fast, dramatic results in the user feedback provided.
5 times down to 1 or 2 in a week. That's a powerful testimonial right there in the comments. There was also Judy Lee. Her feedback was a bit different.
Yeah, Judy Lee focused on the free stuff, the information in the video presentation. She said she was truly impressed by how much they gave away.
Without asking for money up front.
Right. She felt the author truly cares and had already told friends about the site. So that suggests the free content itself feels valuable to some people, builds a bit of trust, maybe.
Kind of speaks to that initial engagement, doesn't it? Feeling like you get something good before you even think about buying. Now, there was also a really important exchange about kids with autism.
Ah, yes. Chloe Jackson asked if the method could work for her child who suffers from autism.
And the response.
Mary-Ann Schuler answered her directly. She said, yes, the method can be used with any child, even babies who are special like yours, but...
There's a but. Always a but.
A very important one. She immediately followed up saying she's not a doctor, and she always advised to consult with your physician because nothing is more important than the safety and well-being of your love.
Okay, that's significant. That switch. From yes, it works to, but hey, I'm not a doctor, definitely talk to yours. Especially for vulnerable kids.
Absolutely. And it leads us straight into maybe the most crucial part of looking at this stuff, the disclaimers, the context the source material itself provides.
Right, because you hear all these claims, the science talk, the testimonials.
Exactly. But the source material also includes some very clear disclaimers that, well, frame all of that. And it's vital for you, the listener, to know about these as you weigh everything up.
So how does it frame it? What do they say?
Okay, it states quite explicitly that the website content and the product are based solely on the author's opinion.
Solely opinion.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
not necessarily fact then. And it's provided, how do they put it, as eyes.
As and as available.
Right.
Standard legal stuff, maybe, but it means basically no guarantees. It might not be perfect or complete or right for everyone.
Got it. And the disclaimers also strongly recommend things to the user.
Very strongly. First, you should do your own research and confirm the information with other sources.
So don't just take their word for it. Check it out elsewhere. Cross-reference.
Precisely. And maybe even more important, you should always review the information carefully with your professional healthcare provider before using any of the protocols.
Before trying anything. So even with all the talk about research and unique methods, they're literally telling you, this is not a replacement for professional medical advice. Talk to your doctor first.
That's exactly it. And they spell out the roles, too. They say neither the author nor ClickBank, that's the company selling it, are giving medical advice.
ClickBank is just the retailer.
Right. They're not engaged in rendering medical or similar professional services or advice. The info isn't meant to replace what your doctor or another qualified professional tells you.
So it's interesting. They highlight the author's background, mention research, but then draw a very clear line. This isn't medical advice.
That's the tension, isn't it? You see the professional credentials used in the marketing, but the small print, the legal text, really emphasizes its opinion, not professional advice.
And ClickBank's role. Does the disclaimer say anything more about them?
Yeah, it clarifies that just because ClickBank sells it, it doesn't mean they endorse, approve, or review the product or any claims made about it.
So they're just the checkout counter, basically, not vouching for the product itself.
Exactly. No warranty or guarantee from them on the strategies or advice. This whole disclaimer section is just critical. It puts all the claims, all the testimonials we talked about into a very specific context set by the provider themselves. It's the lens you really have to look through.
Yeah, it kind of shifts the responsibility, doesn't it, onto the user. To check things out, confirm safety, talk to a doctor, even while the main message is promoting how unique and science-backed it all is.
And that, right there, is the core dynamic presented in the source material we looked at.
Okay, so let's do a quick wrap-up of this deep dive, based just on these sources. We've seen the claims, a unique, holistic baby sleep method, positioned as science-backed, developed by a professional.
We touched on those intriguing technique names, the bedtime mistake, the emotional backpack with those surprising claimed benefits for the parent too, and that specific noise thing citing a hospital study.
And we looked at the user comments included. Some learned unexpected safety tips, like about baby swings. Others reported really fast, big improvements in sleep, like Marella Cruz.
And that important exchange about autism where the advice was, Yes, but definitely consult your physician.
And then critically, we dug into those disclaimers. The source itself stating it's solely opinion provided as ISCO. It's not medical advice.
And the strong, explicit recommendations to do your own research and always talk to a healthcare professional before trying any of it.
Right. So bringing all that together, the exciting claims of something new and scientific on one hand.
And these really important warnings and caveats on the other. It leaves you with a pretty big thought to chew on, doesn't it?
Yeah. Given this kind of tension, the big promises versus the strong warnings, how do you approach this stuff? How do you evaluate information you find online about health, about well-being, especially when it's about your kids?
How do you weigh those claims of, new research and unique methods against the explicit advice that it's just opinion and you need professional review?
It's a tough question, and honestly, it goes way beyond just this one product or a source. It's something we all navigate constantly in this digital age, something to really think about